Hey friends, good morning. Happy Wednesday, or whenever you're listening to this. That's what I love about Facebook Live. And no, this is not a Monday moment. It is not a Monday moment. Let's consider this a coaching moment. Maybe we need to do that in the new year, a weekly coaching moment. That is just such my passion, coaching women and coming alongside and being your biggest cheerleader as you make changes in your life, in your health, in your heart. That is what coaching is all about to me. So I am so glad you are here. A few weeks ago, I led a masterclass on Zoom with some women, and we talked about how we can live our best courageous life regarding our health. And today we're going to talk about relationships. It's the holidays. They're coming. And maybe, hey, Steph, good morning, sweet friend. And maybe you've already had a lot of family gatherings. Maybe you're thinking, boy, you just barely survived Thanksgiving. We are going to talk about that today, how we can more than survive and we can really thrive through this season. Hey, sweet Jen. This is a fun time to come on. I've got my friends here. This is so good. Thanks for the encouragement. But a little bit about why I do what I do. Coaching, life coaching, having someone come alongside me just drastically, totally changed my life. How I looked at my health, how I looked at relationships, how even in my walk with God, how I see myself more as God sees me than I ever have. And you're never too old to do a new thing, right? I think it's Isaiah 46 that says that you're never too old to be rescued. I just love that about God. And sometimes in the rescuing, we need someone's help. We just can't always do it by ourselves. And I'm a firstborn rule follower. I just thought if I just study harder and read more and tried to be more disciplined, I could just do it all by myself. But I couldn't. And every year, January would come, and those same things that I wanted to change were on the list. And I got so discouraged. And every year, it was the same thing. It was the same thing. And then I learned about a life coach, and she's been invaluable to me. God has used her greatly in my life, and now I have the privilege of coming alongside and coaching other women, and it is a joy to my heart to do that and to watch the transformation. And who I was 3 years ago is just totally, 4 years ago, totally different. And I'm so grateful. And that can be for you too. And today we're going to talk about how that affects relationships. So how I coach is from a biblical perspective. Romans 12:2 is foundational to my coaching practice. We are transformed by the renewing of our minds. It starts there. Our thoughts determine our actions. So often, January 1's coming, and what are the gyms going to look like? They're going to be packed full of people. Everyone's going to be on a new diet. All the diet books are going to be flying off the shelf. People signing up for programs, doing the thing, action, action, action. And then January 15th comes along, and all of a sudden, the diehard gym people get their gyms back because the other people have fallen off the wagon already. That was me for lots of years. Because we focus on the action. Our thoughts determine our action. So if my thoughts weren't changing about how I felt about my body, how I felt about wanting to improve things, I was always going to get into that cycle. I call it the hiding cycle, where we keep doing the same thing over and over and over. So that thing where you think, 6 months from now, I want this to be different. It starts with how we think about it. And it's so funny because we can read in all the psych books and the neuroscience testing and all of that, that it does start in our minds. It's like God knew all along. He knew all along. So that's where my coaching practice is foundation in the Word of God. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So with my clients, we work on our thoughts about how do we think about this person or that situation? How do we feel about it? And then let's change up that thought. It takes work. It's not easy. It's simple, but it is not easy. And then our actions will change. So it is a beautiful combination, and I love coaching from that perspective. So relationships and the holidays. Sometimes I think we go to an event and we come with either the food that we said we were going to bring or the gifts we're bringing. And we also have one more thing. The baggage of, hey Amy, the baggage of a past holiday, a past conversation, a wounding that we're bringing into that. And we bring that along with the food and the gifts. And then we wonder why we're not having a good time. Because our mind is focused on the past. Do you remember what that person said about you 15 years ago? And we bring that in. Where can joy live in that situation? But it's such a habit, right? We think about a certain situation and our mind goes to a memory and we haul that thing on in there. And then we're not joyful. We're not peaceful. Romans, let me get this right. Romans 12:18. If it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Everyone. That doesn't mean we have to agree with everything they say and do. But we get to choose. We get to decide. Changing that thought is a decision. It is a choice. Whether we want to live in peace and freedom or if we want to carry that baggage from the past. Because oftentimes that other person doesn't have a clue that the war that we're allowing in our own hearts and minds. They just go on doing their thing. But we carry that burden. So who are you going to show up for this holiday? That family event, that group event, that church event. Who are you going to show up for? I'm encouraging you to show up for your future self. That woman who has chosen to forgive. Forgiveness takes one person. Reconciliation takes two. And oftentimes reconciliation just doesn't happen because it does take two people. But we can choose to forgive from that wounding 15 years ago. No, it does not let them off the hook. It lets your heart off the hook. It lets your heart off the hook. So let's change up that cycle because our brains are going to freak out. Let me just tell you. I tell my coaching clients this all the time. Our brains are brilliant, but they're lazy. They like thinking the same thing over and over because it's just easy. But when we want to try something new, our brains are like, whoa, back up. And we have to fight for that new. We have to fight from going what I call the hiding cycle, that same old thing that is not giving us the results that we really long for, to what I call the transformation cycle, because we are transformed by the renewing of our minds. It starts there. And that new cycle gives us freedom. Hey, Jody, it gives us peace. It gives us courage to do the hard things. So I'm going to share some things that have helped me in my relationships. Wi-Fi issues. Sorry about that. I hope I'm still here. things that we can do for our own selves that will help us when we are in social situations for the holidays. And for me, okay, I'm an introvert, the teeny tiny I introvert. So even going a couple weeks ago, well, yeah, 2 weeks ago, we had this women's church event, which, you know, on paper looked like so much fun. But man, I just struggled. I was like, it was a Friday night. I had a long week. I was making up all the excuses, right? I was living in that hiding cycle. Oh, it doesn't really matter if I go. No one's going to miss me if I show up or not. Doesn't matter. I'll feel much safer just watching a Hallmark movie, right? Bowl of popcorn and a Hallmark movie, and I'm good to go. But I chose, hey, Isaiah, there is a man in the house, Mr. Isaiah, my handsome son-in-law. So I got to choose. Was I going to live in hiding? Or was I going to choose some freedom and live in that transformation cycle? So I walked into that church with the thought, I belong here. I belong here. These are my people. I belong here. And Lord, who can I encourage in this great group of women, large number of women? Who can I encourage? Why am I here? Who am I here for? And I got to love on those women because I chose that I belonged there. And sometimes in family gatherings or whatever kind of gatherings, we might not feel like we belong, but we get to choose. We get to tell our brains a different story, a different truth. And that, I had so much fun that night. Was I exhausted the next day, this introvert? Yes, I was totally exhausted. But it was so worth it because I got to love on some women and I allowed women to love on me. So that is a choice. We can choose to belong, to tell our brains that we belong there. The second one, you might be surprised about this. The second one is nutrition. I know. What are we, holiday season, our maybe normal eating plan, our health eating plan can just go out the window. Too much sugar, too much processed foods, all the snacky things. Chex Mix, anybody? And it just messes with us. Our bodies don't like it. We think, oh, this is the only time of year that I can eat this. Really? Not really. And so we go overboard and then our bodies just don't like it. And so I know for me, the last 2.5 years, I've hardly had any sugar. And so when I do, the next day, it's like my body's just like, hey girl, you do better without the sugar. Let's just stay on that side of the road, okay? And so it messes with us. We don't sleep as well. We'll get to sleep in a minute. And then we just get on that bandwagon, well, it's all or nothing, I might as well just eat all the things. And so it messes with our emotions. It messes with our minds. We're not thinking clearly. And so then it's harder to choose rightly, right? So yes, have those planned, I call them planned exceptions, where you're like, I'm going here and I know I'm going to have a bite of that. That's fine, but it doesn't have to be daily. Your brain's going to tell you, well, just finish it up, or it's just the holidays. People now just eat their way from Halloween to New Year's. We don't have to be the people that gain those 10 pounds. We can control our minds and choose. I'm going to have a planned exception, but I have to eat my way through the holidays because that sugar and those processed carbs mess with our brains, and that's why it's harder to get along with people. Let's choose differently. Okay. And sometimes with that nutrition here, I'm going to give you a couple tips because women are always asking me about nutrition. Water. Drink your water. Water before coffee. Is it possible? I'm not a coffee drinker, but you tell me, is it possible to drink water before coffee? Drink your water. That helps so much. Never eat a carb naked. When we just eat a carb all by itself, like that sugar cookie all by itself, or sorry, we're having a snowstorm here and my internet connection is just not stable. And it just spikes our blood sugar, and then, our body does not process that well. So grab some cheese, grab some nuts, eat your meal, and then have your dessert. Have that sweet treat after you eat your meal. Then your blood sugar doesn't spike as much. You'll sleep better. You'll think better. You'll process better. Okay. The third step is movement. And I know it's crazy. It's like, Deb, look at my calendar. When is there time to move? But let's get in some, even 5 minutes here or there. After you eat, walk around that dining room table. Ask your friend, your mom, your aunt, your cousin, whoever, after a meal, hey, do you want to go for a quick walk? And I know in Minnesota it's cold, and I'm not a winter outside walker. Last winter I'd really tried it. I failed miserably, but I got some days in. So you can walk, just go for a walk, breathe that fresh air, get your body moving. It really helps clear our minds and tones down the emotion and the drama, okay? There's a thing called NEAT. It's an acronym for Non-Exercise Activity Thermogenesis. Say that 10 times fast. It's the energy expended for everything that we do that is not sleeping or eating or working out. And oftentimes, it accounts for more energy expenditure than working out. So getting up, I know my watch tells me at 10 minutes before the hour, if I haven't moved, I get a little buzz on my watch. And so I get up and I get my steps in. So just even those little things helps our minds, which will help our relationships. Okay? And step number 4, a couple things. You might hit me for some of these. But that's why I'm doing this live and not in person. Sleep. And I know, but sleep is so important. When we don't sleep, our emotions can go just crazy, and then the drama intensifies, and we eat what we're not supposed to eat, and all the things. Sleep is vital. Sleep is vital. And I struggle with sleep a lot. And so I don't even want to look at what my hours were last night. But it's always a goal. Always a goal. Oh, Steph's going to be shoveling snow for her movement today. Steph's a North Dakota girl, so she's got the storm before us Minnesota people. Good for you, Steph. So sleep, and maybe even take some time. Maybe when everyone else is asleep, if you have little kiddos and they go to bed first, take some time just to sit. If you have a tree up, sit in front of that tree and lay your phone aside. Lay your phone aside. And think about this last year. Think about what God's done in your life. Think about the person you want to be in 2023. Think about those things. Just ponder those things. That's what Mary did. She pondered those things in her heart. Take some time. It lowers your blood pressure. And journaling. I know some of you aren't journalers, but there's something that happens between our brain and the pen and the paper. Just letting our thoughts go before God. So you can sneak in those moments of time. And when you find yourself thinking about, with some anxiety about what's happening next or all the way to next week, just tell your brain, that's not happening today. God gives us grace for today. His mercies are new for today. And we want to experience His grace and His new mercies when we think about the hard thing for next week. God's not going to show us that, because today He's going to give us new mercies. Today He's going to extend us the grace that we need. So just tell your brain, boss your brain around. I don't have to worry about that. Today I'm focusing on God's grace and His new mercies. Today. And it takes practice. It takes practice. But pretty soon your brain will catch up and start believing you. And it changes everything. It changes everything. I have, so many beautiful stories about restored relationships these last few years, but you know what? Those people didn't change. I did. I did. I could get teary. Okay, so your coaching challenge from your coach is to choose one or two things from those options that I gave you to focus on in these next few weeks. What are you going to decide to do to make your relationship sweeter without expecting that other person to change a thing? What are you going to choose? What thoughts are you going to think? Choose to love them. Lord, your word says, as far as it depends on anyone, live at peace. Hey, Chris, live at peace with everyone. Lord, as far as it depends on me, you're calling me to live at peace with everyone. Not I get to pick and choose. You're telling me everyone. And that peace with everyone starts with peace with ourselves. Oftentimes when we get really hot and bothered and quick to not be kind, it's often, if we look in the mirror, it's because we're not at peace with our own selves. Peace in our bodies, peace in our minds, peace with our expectations. So start there. Start there. And then it's just one step easier to be at peace with everyone else. So that's kind of what coaching is with me. I meet with clients one-on-one via Zoom, and starting January, we have a new program. I have a new program called Live Your Best Courageous Life. It's a 12-week coaching program, and for bi-weekly, 6 times, you and I will meet one-on-one via Zoom for 45 minutes, and you will have weekly access to me via Voxer or Marco Polo. You get to choose. And there will be a daily accountability, weekly accountability, whatever works for you. And I'm just so excited about it. You get to choose what you want to work on. What is that one thing in 2023 that you want it to be different in your life by the end of the year? What is that thing? Maybe it's something that you've wanted to tackle and conquer for years, and you're just tired of the cycle of no change. Let me come alongside you, be your biggest cheerleader, and help you figure out those necessary steps, starting with our thoughts, because that's where the transformation comes from, that we can make progress. And it is progress over perfection. There will be a little bit of homework because we need some accountability, right? I need it too. My coach gives me homework. And together we will walk through managing our minds and choosing to live differently and experiencing the freedom on the other side of that. That's what I love about watching my coaching clients as they work through things. The freedom that they experience in their lives is just, I don't know what the word is for it. I just get all jazzed about it, for sure. And hey, Ben, we have some guys in the house today, plural. So there will be a link as soon as I'm done here. I've had some technology issues. Does that surprise anybody who's been on Monday Moments? So I have found a back way. They're still trying to work on doing it the right way. A link to a page that tells all about the program. And there's some really fun bonuses I'm really excited about. This class right here is actually part of a video series I've created called Live Your Best Courageous Life Masterclass series, where we talk about health and we talk about relationships and we talk about goals. Ben says, for us Minnesota people, the roads are bad and to please drive safe. We will, Ben. That's why I love working from home, right? And so that masterclass series is a bonus, and you will receive that through the month of January. And then I'm also a new wellness challenge that I've created. Some of you may have heard of 75 Hard, And that is a 75 days of disciplined action, dealing with health. And it was just, I just thought in some areas it was just too over the top. Some people have done it and loved it, but I've created my own version, and it's called 40 Brave. I have it here. It's going to be backwards to you, but it's called 40 Brave. And there are 7 commitments that you'll make, criteria, daily. But in this 40-day challenge, there will be 1 day of Sabbath rest, because I am all about that. And so there will be daily accountability as we work through these habits, building these habits that are good for our mind, our hearts, and our body as we start into 2023. And in the future, this is going to be a program all by itself, 40 Brave. But for this first quarter of 2023, it will be a bonus for those of you that sign on to coach with me. So you can reserve your spot starting today. I do one-on-one coaching, so I can't take a large number of people, but I wanted to share it here on this Facebook community first, because you are so dear to me, and I wanted to let you know first. You're the first ones. So that link will be there. You can find out about the cost and the payment plan, all those things. And thanks for the encouragement, Steph. So that is what Deb Brown Coaching and Live Your Best Courageous Life is all about. I can't wait. I'm just so excited about watching you just come alive in 2023, maybe in a way you haven't in a long time. That is what coaching did for me, and I just want it for everyone. I just want it for everyone. So if you have any questions, drop those in the comments or private message me. I would love to answer any questions you have. For me, coaching is a passion. The marketing piece, hi Anita, is a challenge for me. It's hard to put myself out there, just totally honest. So, but you are also welcoming, and I'm so, so grateful. And I cannot wait to see what God does in your life. And maybe it's not for now, but you know where to get your coach. I am right here for you. So have a great day. Blessings on your day. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. Love you, friends. Bye.